Well, I feel like this is the official start of Wild Woman Off Grid. Some of you have been following me on Facebook for a while, and I have some videos out on YouTube. But this is the real launch of my channel. I had intended to start this a while back, actually. I had quite a bit of content I wanted to share with you guys, but this last year has been just such a whirlwind. So to catch anybody up who does not know me or my story, my name is Caitlin Holler. And in September of this year, well, I guess last year, 2023, I moved from Southern Oregon to Alaska. And the story of how I ended up here in Alaska is quite a long one. In short, my husband and I had always dreamed of moving up here and building our own dream homestead. And 3 years ago, we bought a 10-acre parcel of raw land. And we started coming up in the summers working on that property. And I might tell this story another time, but actually the first property we bought is not the property that we ended up with. We ended up buying something sight unseen, and it didn't work out, and got rid of that and got another property. Our plans had been to sell everything we own and make the move to Alaska in May of this last year. And we were actively making those plans. We were selling everything. We had given notice at our jobs. And on March 27th, sorry, there's snow falling off the roof and my dog was barking. Good timing. On March 27th of this year, my husband was on his way to work and was in a fatal car accident. And that changed my life entirely. But it didn't change my dreams. And after a few months of figuring out what I was going to do and what my life purpose was going to be and what I had to live for, I decided to see our dream through. So I am here in Alaska, and I've already put some work into the property. So I told you I originally wanted to start this video earlier. I actually made 2 trips to Alaska this year. The first trip was in July, and I drove the entire Alaskan completely solo. And I have got to make that video for you guys because it was so hard. So hard. I thought I was going to die so many times. But it was the adventure of a lifetime. And I got a lot of footage, and I had always intended to put that together. One of these days, that'll be coming your way. And after the trip in July, when I did a little bit of work, that's when I made the decision that I was just going to make the move. And so I had brought one of my vehicles up here. I have 2. I packed up everything I had. I sold most everything. And it all happened in kind of a whirlwind because I had been evacuated from my home due to a wildfire. So I couldn't even get back to my house to get the remainder of my belongings. I was living in a barn at my grandparents' house, and I had luckily gotten as much as I could out of the house, and I packed it up in the truck, and I drove to Bellingham, Washington, and I hopped on the ferry. I took the ferry as far as Haines, Alaska, and then I had to drive through the Yukon and drove the rest of the way to Alaska with everything I owned, which was not much. I mostly brought tools and a generator, propane tank, some gas cans, some clothes. That was about it. I had a tractor that I had hoped to bring up and a flatbed trailer. I couldn't do that by myself, so those, unfortunately, I had to sell. But here I am and starting work on this property. I've already had a little bit done this year that I didn't expect to do. I had a forestry mulcher come in and clear the lot, at least a section of the lot where I'm going to be building. And so that's already done. And tomorrow I'm going to be going up and doing some tree felling because I bought myself a portable sawmill to build my own home. But I need a place to put that sawmill, and there's a couple of trees I want to take out first. So I'm expecting we probably have about 3 or 4 feet of snow up there. I'm not entirely sure how much work I'm going to get done, but I'm going to bring you guys along. I'm going to show you my Valhalla, and we're going to get this channel rolling. There's going to be a lot more coming out as I get deeper into my build this summer, because right now it's January and I can only do so much, but I'm getting what I can done now while the snow is on the ground, because in some ways the snow can be helpful. So that's enough for now. I'll see you guys in the morning and we will get to work. Now, my property is what I like to describe as semi-remote. It's about a half of a mile off of the road system. And this has been a huge challenge for me. I've put a ton of work into this logging road that extends to the property over the last 3 years. But as of right now, it's only ATV access, and that's in the summer. Luckily, I do have some amazing neighbors who have been allowing me to use their driveway while I get up to the property and do some work. But for the time being, since it's winter, I'm gonna have to snowshoe in everything that I brought with me. So it's all gonna go in this sled and I'm gonna drag it up the hill. Well, I'm about halfway out to my property. It's about a half-mile hike in, and I'm just getting over the flu. So this is actually taking a lot out of me. My lung capacity is not what it should be. I'm dragging the sled behind me with all my gear, and it's not too heavy. It's just a little awkward with the snowshoes, but I gotta climb up this hill here. So I'll check in with you guys when I get there. Okay, well, I made it up to my property, and that was a workout on my lungs for sure. But the snow is not too deep here. It packs down within about a foot. So I'm able to move around without my snowshoes. But I got a little grove of trees here I'll show you guys that I'm hoping to get taken down. But of course I got up here and it started snowing on me, and unfortunately it's a wet snow and I'm sweating. So I should probably rest for a minute, but I want to get to work and keep my body temperature up. Even though it is a warmer day, it's about 32 degrees. Since I'm sweating, I don't want to let myself get too cold. So, show you what I'm going to work on. That's about 18 inches. So here I have my shed, and my plan is to put the sawmill right in here. But first, this little cluster of trees needs to come down because I want to drop them this way. So I'm going to get them down and try to stack out a log deck right over here. Okay, so this first tree I'm taking out here, in theory, should be an easy tree. It's only maybe 5 inches in diameter. It's a pretty thin and whippy one, but it's tall and it has a heavy backwards lean. So trying to get it to go the way I want is going to be a little interesting. The snow's not too deep over there though, so I think that I can comfortably move around it. So I'm going to try to do this effectively and safely. Here we go. Okay, you guys, well, I'm going to be honest with you. Setting up this rigging line and the come along took a lot longer than I wanted to spend on this little tree. But I am out here working alone. And when dropping trees, trying to do things too quickly and not assessing your situation is how you get hurt. So I've cut a nice wide face cut in this tree, and I've already done my back cut, and I left about an inch of holding wood, and I really don't want to take off more than that because this tree really wants to go backwards. So I went ahead and I set up this 2-to-1 pull ratio with a come along. My come along cable is not very long, so there's a little bit of slack in the rope. I'm hoping I have enough of a pull. Otherwise, I'm going to have to rework the ropes a little bit. But we're going to give this a little pull, and in theory, this tree should come down right between these lines. Unfortunately, I got a little bit wrapped up in my work, and I stopped filming at this point. This tree has already been delimbed and cut into 10-foot sections, and those sections have been stacked on some sacrificial logs that I placed on the ground. And I've got to say, moving those logs by hand was not easy. Before heading out, I always pay respects to my husband right here at his gravesite and just take a moment to be grateful. So that was my adventure for this week. I hope that you guys will stay tuned. There's still so much work to be done. But if you like my content, please like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one.